Hello, I am Dr. Michael Amusio, the author of Full Stack Educator, and in this video I want to show you a really cool Claude hack or new feature in Claude that I've been using that's been game-changing. I'm going to show you how to get Claude to be able to text you a summary of your inbox on the hour every hour. And I've been using this. It's been super helpful and it helps me try to get inbox 0 every day, which is a challenge. So I'm on the Claude website. The first thing that you're going to want to do is download the Claude desktop app. The desktop app allows Claude to grab new functionality, such as being able to access your iMessages and other tools that are on your desktop. To do that, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of the left bar where there's the little download button. Click it. And that's going to take me to this page where I can click download for Mac OS. There's also specifically like a download app button here too. I download it and install it. When I do, it's going to bring me to this tool. There's a few cool things about this. There's 3 different Claude tools now, or harnesses, that you can access. One is Claude Chat, which is what you're used to using Claude in its original format. Now there's a new tool called Claude Cowork, and there's Claude Code. Right now I'm going to focus on Cowork. Cowork is really cool because it functions within a particular folder on your computer. You can choose a folder to work in, and as it's doing things, it will dump the output into a folder on your computer and save it. You can also put context into that folder, which is pretty cool. So there's a few steps to this. The first is I want to get connected. I want to get Claude connected to my email, my calendar, all of those things so that it can help me and triage my inbox. So I'm going to click Customize. I'm going to go to Connect Your Apps. I'm going to click that button. And now you'll see there's a whole lot of different connectors here. I'm going to type in Gmail. I'm going to click Gmail. I've already connected, but if you haven't yet, you'd click Connect, go through the steps for the Google single sign-on, connect your Gmail account, and then Claude has access to Gmail. Something to note, if you look down here, these are the different tools Claude can access within your Gmail. So it can create drafts, and it can read your messages, label messages, unlabel messages. But what it can't do is send an email on your behalf, and that's actually helpful. I don't want Claude sending emails for me, but it can craft drafts of messages for you, which is cool. The next one I'm going to recommend you do is Google Calendar. I recommend you connect your Google Calendar as well, which would be helpful. So this way Claude has access to the context of your schedule. So when it's giving you email summaries, they can compare that to your schedule. If you use something other than Google Calendar, there's a bunch of different tools in here, different products. So just look for the one you use. And then while we're connecting Google products, I would connect Google Drive as well. Something that I've also connected is Asana. I use Asana for project management. You might use a different tool. It's basically a project management dashboard where you can keep track of your different teams, different projects, who's doing what's going on. And I can explain how I use this part in a second. So once you have all of those installed, what you're going to do is go back to Claude Cowork. I prefer to work in Cowork now, but you actually could do this through a chat. I'm going to go back to Cowork though. And so what I'm going to ask Claude to do is to create a repeatable skill that I can schedule that would help me search my inbox. So I use Whisperflow to help me give my computer commands. It just makes it a little easier. And so I'm going to do that right now so you can hear how I would describe it. Hey, Claude. So I've given you access to my inbox, and I've given you access to my calendar and my Google Drive and my Asana project management account. And what I want you to do is help me build a set of instructions that I can eventually turn into a skill that will search my inbox for messages and basically triage it for the last hour. So I want to look over the last hour to grab all unread messages, and I want you to sort them into a few categories. 1, things I need to know. 2, things that I need to act on, requests that require me to take an action. And then 3, messages that I need to respond to. And what I want you to do is, for things I need to know, write a 1-sentence summary. For messages that I have to respond to, or sorry, for things that I have to do and follow up on, create a set of action items and be pretty minimal in this. For messages that I have to respond to, please draft a reply in my voice and save it to my drafts. For the things that I need to do, I want you to, when you take the summarized list that you create, I want you to push that to Asana, and I want you to attach an urgency level based on how you would classify the urgency. So please create a description of that skill for me so that I can reuse it. Okay, so Whisperflow turned all of that into like text to speech for me. So I'm gonna click Let's Go now. And now Claude is gonna create those instructions for me so that I can save this as a repeatable skill. So let's give it a second. Let's see what happens. All right, so it's telling me what it's doing while it's thinking. You'll notice that there's this thought process part. You could actually like look through its whole thought process. But as it's creating a thought process, if it's multi-step, sometimes up in this top right corner where it says progress, it'll actually break it into a task that has different pieces and then show you which step it's working on. Right now, this is not a particularly complex task for it. It also shows you what things it's pulling in. So it's pulling in this thing called Skill Creator, and actually it found the inbox briefing skill that I've already created for it. And some of that context is jumping in here too, because I use Reclaim, which is an app for my calendar. But we're gonna give it a second, and it's going to write what it is gonna end up calling, it looks like, an hourly triage skill. Skills inside of Claude are repeatable instructions that you can call anytime, and they work consistently, and you can also schedule them, which is what we really want to get to. So here's my skill file. Here's what I've built and a few other things worth noting. How it differs from your existing /inbox skill. So I already have one of these. I'm recreating another one for you so you can see how I did it. So the 3 buckets: need to know, need to act on, need to respond to, urgency classification. And here's the actual skill file. You don't need to worry too much about this because Claude will keep track of where this is when it goes to call it. But if you wanted to share this skill with someone on your team, you can actually download this, send it to someone else, and I can show you in a separate post like how you would install. It's not really installing, but how you grab other skills and put them into your instance of Claude. Okay, so we've got the skill now. So now what I want to do is actually ask Claude to schedule this. So, and actually I'm going to use text to speech again. This is great. Thanks so much. Can you go ahead and schedule this to run every hour on the hour from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.? And then actually, because in the evening, I'm not checking my email through the evening. The very first time it runs in the morning, can you make sure that it's not just checking like from the last hour, but over the whole course of the evening? So modify the skill if you need to based on the time of day, but can you go ahead and make that happen and schedule it for me so that it's happening every hour on the hour from 7 to 5. Okay, so again, Whisperflow is dumping all that in here for me, and then we're gonna see what Claude does with it. So it created this skill called hourly triage skill, which we could go in and actually read. I'm not going to right now because it likely has information about my personal email in it, which I don't really want to share via video. But now it's gonna, okay, so it's noticing what I asked it to edit. So the morning catch up. So it's gonna update the skill to handle morning catch up. Well, it's telling me that it's done editing the morning catch up. And now it's gonna schedule the task for me. Working on it. Great. Good. The skill is updated. Now let me create the scheduled task about cron or cron job. That is essentially a scheduled script running on your computer. Oversimplifies it a little bit, but that's what it is. So Claude does a good job of asking you when it's finalizing things. I like that as a security feature. So it's basically saying like, hey, do you really want me to run this? And so I'm going to click schedule. So now it's created and it's all set up. So all set. Here's what's in place. Schedule every hour on the hour, and it's going to give me a summary. And you know what? Actually, this is embarrassing, but we missed a huge part that I was telling you about this, which is I want this to actually text me some of this information. And so in order to make that happen, I'm going to go back to customize. I'm going to go to connect your apps, and I'm going to go to iMessages. Now there's a whole bunch of different messaging apps that it can work with. I have a Mac and I have an iPhone. So you would click on here and you would set this up so it has access to your messaging app. But you can use Telegram, you can use Slack, you can use whatever it is you would use. So set that up. Now I'm going to show you how easy it is to like edit one of these things. So I'm going back and I'm going to go to recent, build email triage, and then shrink that. Okay, so now I'm going to tell it, hey, actually, I want you to, in addition to all of this, send me a text message. So it's going to update the skill. Then it's going to, actually, it just has to update the skill because the skill is already scheduled to run. So here we go. Hey, this is fantastic. I forgot to ask you to add a feature. So when you run this every hour on the hour, the skill, I want you to text me a very concise summary of the output. So when I say the output, I mean, we talked about 3 different things you're going to produce for me: the need to know, need to act, need to respond to. I want a summary of what you did. Remember, this is via text message, so I need you to be pretty concise. Alert me if there's something urgent. And also, you know my phone number, so you're going to text me on my phone number. So it's going to look like it's coming from myself, but that's okay. So again, Whisperflow transcribed this for me. So I'm going to send this. It's going to update it. My version of Claude already knows my phone number. It's in its memory. And so it's going to use that. It's adding that to the skill. You can see now that it's grabbed this connector. And so it's going to use that connector as part of the skill. And the messages, because it's sending from my phone account, my messages account, my Apple account, show up as text messages from me to me, which is weird. Okay, well, there's my phone number, which is fine. It's on my website as well, so it's not a secret. This is my professional number, so it's going to update the scheduled task to include a text summary at the end. So there we go. So actually, this is interesting. It's different than it did it's doing something different than last time I asked it to do this. So instead of adding the message, the request to text me to the skill, it's actually adding it as part of what is scheduled. So the scheduled task actually has 2 steps: run the hourly triage, then text me a summary, which is fine. So there you go. So now if I want to go look at what is scheduled, I can go up here, go to scheduled, and here are all my scheduled tasks. So hourly inbox triage, that's this one. I can click on it and it would give me the specific instructions that it created for itself. And again, I don't want to read through those because I think it has like information about my email account in it, but you can read that in, actually, this is my old one. This is the new one because this one goes from 7 to 5. My old one went from 7 to 4, or 7 to 7. So this is the one we created. Doesn't matter, but this is it. And now it's going to run every day on the hour from 7 to 5. If I wanted to turn it off, I could click on it, and you can also test it by clicking run now, which is cool, but you can turn these things on and off as well. So notice that like some of these are paused and some aren't. And so one other thing is here where it says keep awake. You want to turn this on. What this means is as long as your computer is plugged in, it will keep this running. So even if you close your computer, if your computer's plugged in, it will keep Claude Cowork open unless you manually close it, and it will keep running this in the background. You might have to go into your laptop settings and maybe change a couple things, but the point of this button is it's supposed to change those things for you. So your computer doesn't go to sleep and stop this stuff from running, which is a really important nuance here. This is actually running on your computer. It's using Claude in the cloud, but it's running on your computer to make it happen. So your computer has to be connected to the internet and on, even if it's like on while sleeping, in order for this to work. I have a bunch of these that I've experimented with that summarize different things throughout the day. And again, you can turn them on or off or pause them. But this has been super helpful. And when it runs, it's been amazing that it can triage my inbox, tell me everything I need to know, create drafts of emails for me, and then dump action items into Asana. I find that in the morning or throughout the day when I need to do some inbox work, I just go in and the drafts that it's written are actually getting better as Claude is learning more about me. So the more I use it, the more context it has on me, and the better the responses are. I hope this was useful. I have found this to be incredibly valuable. And yeah, let me know if you end up finding this to be helpful and if you come up with some cooler things to add to it. I'd love to hear about it. Thanks for watching.